Lease Summit Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, May 25th, 2023. Could I get a roll call, please?
Mark Kitchens.
Present.
Cinda Rader.
Present.
Jake Lovelace. Dana Arth.
Present.
Donnie Funk.
Present.
Terry Trafton.
Present.
Tanya Jonna Ford. Her audio is not working, but she did turn on her camera. Chip Tuzinski.
Present.
Randy Benbrook.
Present.
Thank you. I know no changes to the agenda, so I would look for a motion to approve the agenda as published.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda as published.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Could I get a vote for approval of the agenda, please?
Cinda Rader.
Yes.
Dana Arth.
Yes.
Donnie Funk.
Yes.
Terry Trafton.
Yes.
Tanya Jonna Ford. Audio's still not working, but she did turn on her camera. Chip Tuzinski.
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
And the agenda has been approved. We will move on to our public comments section. Anything pertaining to the Planning Commission outside of any of the applications we have here tonight? I see none, so we will move on to our next item of business, and that is the approval of our consent agenda. Our consent agenda contains 3 items. Items A, approval of the May 11th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting minutes. Application PL 2021-214, final plat, The Falls at Winterset Valley, lots 1500 through 1519, Track A, and Track A Engineering Solutions applicant. Item C, application PL 2023-066, final plat, Town Center Logistics, Lot 1, in Track A, 2201 Northeast Town Center Boulevard, Engineering Solutions applicant. I'd look for a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, please.
Mr. Chair, I move for approval of the consent agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I get a vote on approval of the consent agenda?
Mark Kitchens.
Yes.
Cinda Rader.
Yes.
Dana Arth.
Yes.
Donnie Funk.
Yes.
Terry Trafton.
Yes.
Tanya Jonna Ford.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Tuzinski.
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
And the consent agenda has been approved. Excuse me. We'll move on to our next item of business, our public hearings. Item A in our public hearing, we will open up application PL 2023-069, preliminary development plan, Dental Depot, 1501 Northeast Rice Road, Ashmore Investments LLC applicant. Anyone wishing to provide testimony or speak on behalf of this application, please stand and be sworn in at this time.
Hello, do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you. Staff have a presentation for us, or the applicant, please. You want the applicant to go first, right? I messed that up, Shannon. I'm just excited for you to come down here. Just step forward and give us your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Phil Fitzgerald. My address is 3900 North Santa Fe in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm the architect for Dental Depot.
Go ahead.
Okay. We've been working with staff to build a new dental clinic on 1501 Rice Road, and it's a vacant piece of dirt, and it's adjacent to the Rediscover Center in there on Rice Road. And so our addition is the Rice Road, the Rediscover Center to the north, and then behind us we have residential neighbors. I had a meeting with the neighborhood about 3 weeks ago, and we had two groups show up. We had Rediscover people come in, and they were excited that we're going to be here. So we had good positive response from them. The neighbor behind us, we had some trees growing over the doctor's property, and he's only just now purchased it a few months ago. So there's some trees actually growing over into their yard. They were concerned about those. We've actually our owners contracted with a tree company to remove the trees that are over their yard for safety. And there's some thorn trees too, we're gonna remove those. I went by and talked with them today. The tree company's not gone out there yet to remove them, but they're under contract. So the project is a vacant site, and we plan on building about a 6,000 square foot, 14 operatory dental clinic. And the building will, there's also room for a future 4-op addition on the south. And then there's a train, there's a water tower, there's some signs that have that feeling of an old train station. And then the building itself has the feeling of an old train station, turn-of-the-century train station. And inside, the decor is finished with authentic train memorabilia. And there's also trains that go around in the operatory. And so it's a really well-done facility. We've done 2 here in Kansas City area. We've done 1 in Blue Springs and just finished 1 in Independence. And so they're really excited about being here on this site in Lee Summit. The challenge is a really challenging site. It's got a lot of hills on it. It's got hills behind it. We're adjacent to the Rediscover Center, and then it really falls off to the south into just even a small area that's in floodplain. So we've been able to stay away from all that. We're building the site up, and we're coming in at about, if you can see this, we're coming in at about 6% grade here, and so we've got parking for our customers and staff. And we've got some photographs of a similar project in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so this is a new building. The other 2 buildings we've done here have been renovations of Quick Trips, but this is a ground up new building. And this will be very similar to that character of that building. You can see our site plan. This area here is for detention, underground detention. We also have with us Josh Lipscomb from Wallace Engineering, our civil engineer, if you have any questions. Pretty difficult grading plan. So again, to come in on this side of this storm sewer, we've come in at a 6% grade and are able to put our building in this area. So we'll have retaining walls around the site as required. Here we're showing, let me blow this up a little bit here. Kind of showing how the building next door is, this is Rediscover here, and where our building fits in with the existing grade. So we're going to have some cut and some fill, and so our building will fit. So our fit on this site, and our building will actually be a little bit lower than our neighbor sites. And again, this is showing our water tower, our tower, and train tower, and this is still lower than the existing building. So again, we're showing retaining walls, and the area of the shading is that screen wall. So and here are the elevations of the building. The photographs really do it more justice. We'll have a decorative fence around there for safety around the retaining walls. And then this is our water tower on the site. Kind of just shows it in elevation what the site looks like. Colored renderings, the material that we're using is a hardy board, so it's a cementous board, and should outlast us. In the years past, we've used wood, but we found that the hardy board works out much better and has a lot longer life. The different elevations we have. Retaining wall. So this is a typical retaining wall, so the retaining wall won't go on anybody's property. and there's our handrail above, so for safety. And we have a brick base. These are double paned wood thermally broken windows. We've got the name of the building, and we've got a clock tower, and we've got a train weather vane on top. And I think that's pretty much our presentation for you. And we're here to answer any questions you might have from myself, our civil engineer.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Shannon McGuire, Staff Planner. Please enter into the record Exhibit A, list of Exhibits 1 through 14.
Exhibits 1 through 14 noted and entered into the record.
All right, so the subject site is about 1.32 acres. It is located there at the intersection of Northeast Rice Road and Northeast Mulberry, as you can see right here. It is an undeveloped, platted commercial lot at that intersection. North is a commercially zoned office complex. South, across to Mulberry, is undeveloped city-owned property that's zoned CP2, as well as an R1 zoned Deer Valley Park. East is single-family residential, zoned R1, and then west you have M291 and Northeast Rice Road corridors. As the applicant explained, they are seeking the PDP approval to construct a single-story, 6,070 square foot dental office known as a Dental Depot. The site does have frontage on both Northeast Rice Road and Northeast Mulberry. However, they will only be seeking access off of the Rice Road frontage. They're kind of up towards the north. Parking, they are proposing 49 parking stalls. Minimum UDO requirement is 31. As the applicant have already previously stated, building materials are going to include brick base there at the bottom, cementitious fiber board body there, lap siding and the vertical siding on the tower, a fiberglass roof, as well as some natural cedar wood posts and some accent pieces. There's another shot of elevation. Example photos that the applicant already showed you. So the applicant has requested a modification to the required high impact buffer to the east there towards the residential property. They are requesting the elimination of the required 6-foot vinyl or masonry fence along that property line. In addition to preserving as much of the existing trees, they are committed to installing the required screening vegetation, evergreens and ornamental trees along the property line here, as you can see. If you look, this red line right here shows about the approximate location of the UDO required fence with relation to the property line. It's 10 feet away. If you take the single-family homes to the side, there is a significant grade change from the homes. This home's 6 to 10 feet above. This one's 8 to 12, and this one's 6 to 8 feet above where that fence would be. The grade change from the south to the north is about 30 feet rise from south to north. So as the cross sections here, just to give us a little reference, this would be Rice Road. So it'd be, as you're looking at it, from south to north. And this is Mulberry, so this cross section shows you as you're looking at it from the homes from east to west. So given the grade change and the fact that the residential homes are so much taller, installing a 6-foot fence here would be essentially ineffective to provide any kind of screening. So staff does feel that the requested modification is a reasonable request. The staff, the The applicant is proposing the use of a conditional material. Wood is a conditional material that must be approved by city council. They're proposing the water tower. Its primary material is going to be cedar, as well as some accent posts that I've got highlighted here in the red on this. As part of the review process, staff inquired about the maintenance plan to get a little more comfortability with the use of this wood. Typically, wood's not used on commercial just for longevity and maintenance reasons. So they have committed to a maintenance program of inspecting the property every 2 years. When they do that, they will, some of the things they're going to be looking for or some of the repairs that will happen during that time is power washing, stripping of any old stain that's come loose, remediation of any kind of organic growth, repair of any materials that are not in good order, as well as restaining as needed. So since the applicant has committed to maintaining the property in good order, and staff is supportive of this request. They are requesting a sign package. The applicant has proposed 8 total signs, labeled A through H. My A got cut off here, but this would be sign A, sign B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. 8 total signs at any one given time. From Rice Road 291 corridor, you will be able to see probably 7 of those. Staff is not supportive of the full sign package. Staff does recommend that we remove signs B, C, and H. And we have placed a condition as well that no signs be placed on the water tower feature. So to kind of get an idea where all those are located, we do have a monument sign at the entrance here, as well as all the wall signs along here. Again, if you're viewing the property from Rice Road this way, all these signs, except for possibly sign G, are visible. If you're viewing it from kind of the southwest corner, all the signs will be visible at one given time. There are no grade issues. There are no setback issues obstructing any of these signs. So that's another reason staff is not supportive of the full sign package. So a little analysis. The proposed dental office is consistent with the commercial land use designation in the comp plan. It is designated as a commercial use, and it is our use site is permitted by right under the current zoning. The CP2 district is a district that is established for location of full range retail and office uses. So it is consistent with the abutting office to the north. It is a consistent use to the office to the north. It does provide a lower intensity use on a commercial property adjacent to residential than some of the other uses that would be allowed by right there as well. So with that, there are 5 conditions of approval. Condition number 1 is the modification to the fence. Condition number 2 talks about the signs that staff is supporting. Again, removing those 3 signs, and we do support the 5 signs, A, D, E, F, and G, as well as the monument sign. Then condition 3 talks about the conditional use or the conditional material, cedar. Condition 4 is just saying that development shall be in accordance with the submitted plans. And then condition 5 talks about the no signage or lights on the water tower out front. And I didn't kind of point that out on the site plan, so let me go back to that real quick. That water tower will be located here in the southwest corner of the property. So with that, that concludes staff's presentation, and I can answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you, Shannon. I'll look to any comments from the public on this application. Don't see anybody running down here, so we will move to the commission for questions, so I don't forget her since she's out there in Zoom land. Commissioner Jana Ford, do you have any questions regarding this application?
I do. Is it okay if you come back to me, Chair? I need to formulate the questions adequately first.
Sure, I can do that. I just didn't want to forget you. You're out there in Zoom land.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rader.
Yes. I have a
Going
question.
ladies first.
Oh, thank you, you're so kind. Well, first of all, I'm curious that, and this is an interesting concept, it's very cool looking, but I was just interested to know, does this target children? Because I guess nobody likes to have their teeth drilled, but is that the reason for the design? Because it seems very whimsical and.
It is whimsical, and I will tell you, about 20 years ago, the doctor and I are good friends, and he has been a train collector, avid train collector, all his life. And 20 years ago, he said, do you think you could design me a building that looks like a train station?
Yeah.
And so about 30 buildings later, we're here now. He collects more memorabilia than anybody I've ever known. And he has a warehouse full of train memorabilia. And then he's got a little kind of a cottage staff that kind of builds things. And they build all the tracks. They build train trestles that are inside. It's pretty unique. And so I don't think I didn't bring any photographs of the inside, but so it's just something that he loves. As far as children, part of our sign package says adults and children. So we've had the problem of people not realizing it's not just for children, it's for everybody. And so that's part of their advertising, and they're open on Saturdays. So that's a big plus for them. They're open on Saturdays, and they're adults and children. So that's part of that sign package that we wanted.
Very good, thank you. And then I had one more question. So the cedar wood on the tower, I'm guessing that you want to use that product because it's got some significance with how it's built. But is there an alternative for that? Because I know it would be a maintenance.
So it is an exact replica of a water tower scaled down. And so all those towers were built out of wood with the bands. And we've got about 30 of these, and they have their own maintenance staff. And so they take really good care of them. I can just assure you that there's no issues with maintenance on those. Outside of that, we've never built one out of Trex. I just can't imagine what it would look like. I'm kind of concerned that it might not have that authentic feel, but they have committed to maintain it, and they have a maintenance staff, so.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Before we jump on to another commissioner, since the sign topic was brought up, is the applicant in agreement with staff's recommendations?
Yes.
Okay, based on what they've recommended tonight, we'll narrow the sign package down.
Yeah, H was a surprise today. I didn't know about H, but we're okay with that, I believe.
Okay. Commissioner Kitchens.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you for remembering me. I appreciate that. I guess this one, Chair Funk already beat me to, if you were okay with the signs up there. My question about the signs, are they all true, or is it more of a decorative thing up there? I know the Saturdays, open Saturdays, et cetera. So in other words, is it going with your motif of trains and making it look better, or is it strictly informative?
Well, so the detail of the sign is like an authentic train sign that was on a building. So the detail of that is signed, but they are informative. So it is open on Saturdays, adults and children, and they take emergencies same day.
Okay.
So those are very informative, but they are in the shape of the old train station signs. The height, the elevation, it will be at the elevation of this building with sea level. Yeah, everything else is pretty authentic.
Yeah, I actually really like this. There's another one in Blue Springs, not far from one of my bakeries. So it's cute, for lack of a better term. I do think it does help the kids out, but I'll save that for discussion. You said you had 30 of these around the metro area.
No, around the country.
Around the country, excuse me. In the metro area, Kansas City, you're obviously expanding, correct?
This will be 3.
This will be
number
3. So I count Blue Springs, Lee Summit, where else?
Independence.
And Independence. Well, you picked the great city here for this.
They're very excited. They think they really found a great site, and they're really excited about this site.
Okay. I won't bore everyone, but this question will be for staff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shannon, first of all, great job on this.
Thank you.
Fantastic job. fire, I see Chief Eden back there, but I don't think we need him to come up, because I think Shannon can answer this. The fire response is on the roadway there, right? We don't need access into the parking lot since it's close enough.
I will let Chief Eden answer that one.
Okay, sorry, Chief. Chief, I am well aware I'm the only one that gets you up here every week, so.
I
every
appreciate
time-
it. I'm getting
I am
my steps in.
So sorry, so sorry.
Jim Eden, Fire Marshal, Lee Summit Fire Department. We can pull into the parking lot with the ambulance. It's a 6% grade, which meets our requirements. We get concerned when we start getting into the 8 and 10 range, but we should do fine.
How about for actual fire response? Is that parking lot, that turn-in, I assume an engine wouldn't reach into? But
We
have-
should make it, yes.
You should be able to make it. Awesome. That shuts me up right away. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. All right, Mr. Chair, that's everything from me. Thank you.
Commissioner Art?
No, Commissioner Rader asked my questions.
Perfect. Commissioner Trafton?
Thank you, Chair Funk. Thank you for this application. I appreciate the effort, and I like the train motif, so I think it's fun and different. My questions are related, probably for Shannon, the ordinance around the maintenance of the water tower. I share similar concerns as Commissioner Rader for that, if that's going to be required, and they agree to every 2-year maintaining that facade and upgrading if so needed. Is that written into the ordinance? I didn't see it in the recommendation on number 3.
Yeah, no, that is not something that's written as a specific stipulation in the ordinance. We do have our general property maintenance code throughout the community that our neighborhood service officers, so if it does fall into disrepair, we would address it through that, the standard means of property maintenance.
I guess my question, maybe it's for legal. There's no requirement, if it's not written into the ordinance, for them to update that. We've run into this before, I guess. So this is what I'm referencing.
Amy Nassif, Deputy Director. Yes, thank you for the question. We do have, as Shannon mentioned, the property maintenance code that we already have that helps us with enforcement there. But we do also have a statement from them regarding that they will agree to a 2-year maintenance. We can amend and modify that stipulation number 3 in the ordinance if you like, just to refer to that documentation.
Yeah, I thank you for that information. I appreciate it. I think it's most beneficial for the city for us to have that written into the recommendation, that is agreed upon, so that when it comes down the road 2 years from now, and we know that cedar is not gonna look as good as it did, that we'll be able to have some, teeth and agreement behind that, because I just feel, I mean, they're agreeing to it, I understand that, but things change, owners change, life happens, and then we lose it.
Like I can say a comparable situation that was one of my projects previously was the Texas Roadhouse. They have quite a bit of cedar on their building. This is the same process that we went through with them. In that one, they provided the corporate maintenance plan, which is very similar to this one. It attained a level of comfort with staff that they were going to maintain it. It gave us reassurance. And then again, the route for enforcement is through the neighborhood services.
Okay. So are we gonna add that to the number 3? Is that what you said?
So that would be,
Okay.
you'd probably make a recommendation to amend at that point.
Okay, great.
language
We'll
you'd
make
like.
I will be talking, I guess we'll talk about that in discussion. Thank you. The other question I have is related to signage. And big surprise, I did have a question for Commissioner Kitchens, and you've seen the one in Blue Springs with the signage. Does this have the same signage package over there?
Point of order. Can Commissioner Trafton ask another commissioner a question
Or do
right
we
now?
have to do that in discussion? All right. Well, I'll put it on the table in the future, but I do, I guess I could ask the applicant, is the signage package you applied for today on the Blue Springs building, the way you've proposed it?
I can say it's very similar. That building in Blue Springs was an old Quick Trip that we renovated. And so, but it's very similar. The walk-ins are welcome, emergency same day, and adults and children. So very similar sign package.
Well, yeah, those are the signs that city staff are recommending not be included as the same-day emergencies and the open Saturday signs, as well as the south tower sign, so.
We also have a monument sign, and we have a water tower too there.
So just to be clear, you do have open Saturday and emergency scenes daily on your other building in Blue Springs. And you have the south elevation for, okay. So you have basically this sign package. It may look a little bit different, is what you're saying?
Yeah, just in a different arrangement.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So I just wanted to add a little clarification to that. When staff reviews signs, review it as a content neutral. We don't take into account what those signs say. That's per Supreme Court precedent, so.
Okay, great, thank you. And that leads me to my next question for
solely on the
you.
numbers.
So I wasn't clear on the rationale as to why we were disallowing those signs. When you look at the overall square footage of signage on the building, isn't it well under the ordinance?
Yeah, it'll be under the 10% per facade as the UDO allows, but the UDO also stipulates the total number of signs allowed on a freestanding building in a CP2 zone district, and that is 3. So.
Well, we know we have precedent for more than allowed signs per the UDO. So I guess if it's under the square footage, I mean, it's not egregious. So I'm just trying to understand, is it purely based on the number?
So typically, a lot of the times, when staff recommends approval for additional signs, it's because there's site distance issues, the building's pushed way back, there's a grade issue, or there's multiple street frontage on the front side and back, or all the way around. So in this instance, there's really not those issues, right? The building's not far off the street frontage, it's not visible on 3 sides, it's just a corner lot, so.
So say that again. You're saying that you can't see those signs from the street?
You can.
You can?
Yes.
And that's a problem because?
No, it's not a problem. I'm saying when staff typically recommends approval, we take in consideration, why do they need more signs? Is there a rationale or a compelling reason for the additional signage? Some of the things we consider are, is there view issues? Is there a grade interruption? Is the building pushed way back so that it's harder to see? Do we have multiple street frontages all the way around where we got frontage on the front, frontage on the back, frontage on the sides? So in this instance, the signs that were recommended removing were mostly on the front because you already have great view on the front. So multiple additional signs on the front seems repetitive and not really justifiable under staff's guidance.
Okay, thank you for your answer. I appreciate it. I'll have further comments and discussion.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Tszynski.
Mr. Chairman, quick question for staff. With regard to sign H, I was very surprised too that one was being removed. I thought it fit really well there. But what was the rationale for removing that specific sign?
Go back to those.
Sign H is the dental depot sign on the tower of the building. On the, I guess it's the south, was it the south face? I think it was the Rice Road face. Eklund, you ready to go? H is the
H is the
right,
one on the
yeah,
tower
if-
here, so.
If you go back one slide, I think you can see it a little bit better.
So H would have been on this side.
Yeah,
So any viewscape from the front or from the north to south is going to give you the same view. You got one here, and then there's one on this side as well, which would be the G, I believe. So.
okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'll just have some comments and discussion.
Thank you. Commissioner Benbrook.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Well, Shannon, while you're up there, the water tower, no lights kind of concerns me. We got a residential neighborhood, probably teenagers. I'm assuming this is going to be a fun place for them to hang out, maybe climb on. Would it be something to consider to put maybe some safety lights underneath the platform of that to kind of light the bottom to, I don't know, make it visible so people don't think they can hang out there and cause trouble?
Cut that off.
So we're not trying to light the tower necessarily or use it commercially. We're just putting some safety lights like we would under the front of a building.
So there is illumination in the parking lot, so the area is illuminated. The stipulation for the no lighting was so there was no encouragement to add signs to that particular tower later on.
Right.
I think safety lighting could potentially be acceptable.
Do we, where's the closest parking light? I want to see kind of how that's going to spread out. Do we have that on a site plan?
If you give me a second, I'll look. I have that in a.
I just know how I was as a teenager. I'd have found this thing in a heartbeat. Commissioner Szynski found the, what is it, the ESO1 sheet, which has the lumens in the parking lot. It looks like we have around 3, what is it, candle power at the floor there, which would be enough for some general lighting.
So it looks like I have a light pole.
Yeah, one on each side. Looks like it's going to cast underneath enough. Is there any landscape that's, or is that area just kind of grass?
It will have landscaping around the front and then the grass area. So we'll have bushes around the front here, shrubbery with grass as ground cover around it.
Okay. All right, and then my other question, thank you, Shannon, is going to be for the owner, or the applicant, excuse me. I like cedar. I like cedar wood. I think it's beautiful. I'm just curious what kind of finish will be used on the water tower and on the building elements that are cedar. Is it an oil base? Is it going to be a polyurethane? What have you used in the past?
Yeah, we've not had a good experience with polyurethane because it'll flake off, so it's an oil-based stain.
An oil-based stain?
Oil-based stain,
Okay.
yes.
That's good to hear. I like that over polyurethane. I agree with you. Polyurethane's a pain.
Can I go back to the
The lighting?
lighting?
Sure.
Staff said no lighting on the water tower. We've never planned lighting on, we do have lights that shine up.
Okay,
on the
so there's
water.
some landscape
There is
lights to
some
highlight it?
landscape, yes.
Okay, and that's in the lighting plan, and we know
It
that?
shows on that, shows on that one light, that one plan you had, you just showed up, it shows on there,
Okay,
that one right there.
that's encouraging too. I'm glad to hear that. I think that answers my question enough. I also wanted to say, well, that's probably more of a comment thing, so I'll save the rest for comments, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Jana Ford, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Coming back to me, Chair. So the question, I would say this is probably the question for the architect. I see on the plans that there's a future covered patio area on the plan south of these drawings here. How are we treating the ground cover or groundscape until that future overhang or covered patio occurs? And then is the intent for customers and employees, or is it just employees? How is the furniture going to be rearranged? I know it's future, but I just want to have an idea of what it could be.
Actually, the cover is current, it'll be built. So that it's not a future, it's a current patio, but it'll be a future four-operatory addition. So right now, it's for their employees to go out and break and have a place to sit down and go outside and be undercover. So but it will be built.
And so you're saying in the future, it's going to be covered four-sided as an addition to the internal of the building?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Trafton, you wanted me to come back to you before?
Thank you, Chair Funk. I forgot I omitted one of my questions to the applicant about your signage package. So obviously you submitted the signage package as the way you prefer it on the building, correct?
Yes.
And so you'd prefer to have all 8 signs, correct?
Yes, we do, yes.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. I can save I guess my question, I guess I will ask the question in the public hearing. Do you have a water tower at any of your other locations?
I don't believe there's a location that we don't have a water tower.
That you don't have a water tower?
Yeah, we have water towers at all locations and trains.
Okay. Have you ever had any issues with what Commissioner Benbrook brought up about someone climbing the water tower?
No, sir, this is the first time I've heard that, but, and then I know Shannon talked to our owner. He couldn't be here tonight because he's at graduation, but he did talk to him, and I think he sent a letter to the city that we would maintain, or the Dental Depot would maintain the water tower, and so they're willing to do what needs to be done for that.
Okay. I think we can accommodate our recommendations to ensure the maintenance of the water tower. My concern is the safety of the water tower. Being that close to a residential neighborhood, it would be a very attractive playground, I think. But I will move on to my questions in regards to the parking. So how many employees will be at this location?
I wish my owner was here to speak to that. There's usually 2 doctors. There's, pardon me, you know that?
Bill, I'm on if you want me to speak.
Oh, Brian's on. Okay, yeah, go ahead. There we go.
He has not sworn in, so he's going to have video and be sworn in.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Can you give us your name and address for the record, please?
Brian Ward, it's BrianWard. And are you looking for personal address or business address?
Trevor, if we could get an address, please.
2828 Northwest 30th Street. And that's Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73112.
Thank you. So my question is, you're going to have, did you say 3 doctors at this location?
Not from day one, but it would build up to 3 doctors. That would be the ultimate goal. Day one, we would just start with 1 doctor until the business is
so
built up and robust enough.
That 1 doctor, I'm sure there's going to be some hygienists or something.
Yes.
So you would anticipate, I think your drawing showed 8 rooms, 9 rooms? 14, sorry.
10.
I think it was 10, is it?
Well, 10 is what we would outfit to begin with, but yes, the drawings reflect 14. My apologies, I answered before you finished.
So that's 10 rooms and call it 12 staff, so that's 22 parking spaces. If you had 10 patients, you have an overflow of some folks waiting. I think 49 is a lot of parking spaces when we need 31.
As we grow to full capacity, 49 can ultimately be pushing it, because at full capacity with the addition, we would be at 18 operatories. So you have 18 patients plus additional patients waiting in the lobby, and then staff for a practice of that size is over 30, can be upwards of 30. So like we really end up pushing the absolute threshold of that parking lot when we are at our peak capacity within a few years.
So I think my question would be for staff, if they're going to add this addition and add this many people, then they wouldn't be would they not be able to add this addition because they're not gonna have adequate parking?
So they have adequate parking now. The UDO requires a minimum of, I believe, 31. And so they're meeting that, and they're proposing 49. So the 4 additional bays that they would add in the future could be accommodated by what they have additional now. So they would be well within their minimums at full build out.
But I think if I'd understood Mr. Word and what in his testimony, he just said they would have 30 people on staff.
We could upwards on staff, but not all 30 necessarily in the building at all times.
Okay. Shannon, I'll move on to my next question because I don't think we're quite hitting it on the parking there based on their growth. But on the signage, on the monument sign, it looks like as well, I know we're asking for more signs than what the UDO requires, but on the monument sign, I think it says sorry, I got to the wrong page here too quick. We have a letter height of 6 feet. And they're proposing, I'm assuming that's 8? Is that 8 inches or 8 feet? 8.5 feet.
Inches.
8.5 inches. Okay, that's what I was wondering. So the letters on the signage, staff is in agreement though, since that's bigger than what we allow? Because it says the UDO standards are 6 inches. They're asking for the letter height to be 8.5 inches.
I'm sorry, that is a typo. The UDO letter height max is 6 feet.
Okay. Okay, so I guess I was confused of what you were trying to put there. I didn't know if that meant the overall height of the signage.
No,
It's just the letters.
Correct, letter height.
Okay. Okay. I think that will get all of my questions. Anything else from the commission while we're in the public hearing for questions for the applicant?
Yeah, Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman.
Znetsky.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I was just kind of doing some math in my head really quick, and going back to your parking question, and if the owner could, Brian, if you could be on here. So you've got 18 bays, you're gonna have, at full build out, you're gonna have 3 doctors. So I'm assuming you have 1 dental hygienist per bay?
A dental assistant or dental hygienist
Sure.
per operatory.
Proprietary, okay. And then how many support staff work like the front desk?
Oh, could be in an office that big, you're going to be pushing 5 to 6 maybe.
So I guess real quick, Mr. Chairman, I was doing the math here. It looks like if they have 18 dental hygienists or assistant hygienists, plus the 3 doctors, plus 5 staff, plus 18, say if they're full, have 18 people in, 18 additional, I guess, patients, that would leave approximately 5 additional spots if everyone drove themselves, 5 additional spots for people coming with people going. So that would be, it seems like it full build out.
Sure. Thank you for the math. I was chicken scratching over here myself. Anything else from the commission while we're in the public hearing? I will close the public hearing and open up for discussion or a motion. Commissioner Rader, you're going to carry this one, I believe, correct?
I was wondering, Chair Funk, if I may yield to Commissioner Trafton since he has changed the recommendation.
Okay.
With
We'll
a
run through.
review.
We will run through the comments on and Commissioner Trafton, I guess you're going to carry the motion on this one too.
I am.
Yep.
Well, I
We'll
was
run
looking-
through.
Real quick, have we moved to discussion yet?
Yeah, we're moving to discussion now. I just wanted to, I knew Mrs. Rader was going to have a concern about reading this motion, so we will, Commissioner Janiford, do you want to open up with any comments or discussion?
No, Chair. Thank you.
Commissioner Kitchens?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, to the applicant, thank you so much for choosing our city. I just want to put out there that I really like the design. I think the design is really, really cool. I've seen this in Blue Springs. I think it's fun. As a kid that hated going to the dentist, this puts a little bit of a cheer on it. For discussion for the commission, I get a little worried when, and I've expressed this before, with artwork versus signage. So in my looking at this, and I know it was a weird question to ask them if all the signs were true, but I could very well see a sign being put on the outside of this in a fun, quirky manner that said, you know, prospectors half off teeth or something silly like that, right? And it would help alleviate the situation just like the train does or the water tower does, make it fun. But that would be considered artwork. But at the same time, when we have something that says open Saturday, because it's true, we put it as a sign, and therefore we won't allow it. In this case, I think that the decor calls for multiple signs like that instead of just plastering it on a wall and things of that nature. And it's such a hard line to follow. So I think staff did a great job in outlining it and trying to get the signs down, because as a commission, we've complained about the signs more than once and the number of signs. But at the same time, they did allow for quite a few. I personally am backing my good friend, and who I'm sorry if I offended, Commissioner Trafton, with allowing for more signs, which I think is where he's headed on this one. I think that we definitely can allow some more signs, but I appreciate staff's viewing that. But in the future, I think we as a commission need to really deep dive in with staff and with the UDO and really look at what we're going to say is artwork and what we're going to say is signage. Because I've seen quite a few applicants come across where the signage was just kind of silly. It was obvious signs for a business that were prominently displayed as artwork. And this, because it's true, we're treating as a sign, but at the same breath, it kind of looks like an old train station and all the multiple signs on it. So I kind of see where they're coming from. So I am in support of any changes to this that would allow for more signage. I don't think we need them on that large tower connected to the building on every side, but the rest of them I actually am for. So that's what I have to say. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Rader.
Thanks, Chair. And I would want to agree with Commissioner Kitchens on the fact that really glad that you're here. We appreciate you selecting our city. And I would also agree with Commissioner Trafton on the sign package, of the original sign package that was proposed by the applicant. I don't see them to be obtrusive or crazy looking or anything like that. So if it's okay to do that, I would say let's leave it as it is, or do something that everybody agrees to and staff agrees to and thinks looks good and going forward. So thank you very much. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Arth.
I just wanted to say that I like this project. I think the passion that the owner has in the vision that has been put forth in these dental offices it's really neat. I don't know that it would make me like the dentist any better, but it is a really neat concept. And I would say I didn't find anything wrong with the signs as presented by the applicant, so I would be in support of keeping all the signs as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Arth. Commissioner Trafton.
Thank you, Chair Funk. And I wasn't offended, Commissioner Kitchens.
Point of order.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, actually. You just redirected my question, so that was good. Yeah, I mean, clearly the applicant wants all 8 signs here, and I understand, staff and why you made the recommendation you did. I mean, that's fine. I just know we've made exception to that rule in many cases, and I won't get into all of that, but I think many people know how I feel on some of those. I think the signs are in alignment with the design of the building. They actually serve a function, and I don't think they're egregious. They don't actually exceed the signage allowance for the facade, and so that's why I would recommend we strike recommendation 2, which would only allow for 3, would allow for all of them, basically. If we struck recommendation 2, then that would basically, or would we have to change that to allow for all 8 signs?
Do you have any?
Yeah. So if you voted to amend the conditions of approval, striking that condition completely, it would allow for the sign package as proposed.
Okay, great, thank you for that. And then the another question, well, I guess, I don't know if we want to wait for the other item, which is the maintenance, amending for the maintenance language on item number 3 until there may be more conversation on signage. Okay, go ahead.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I agree. Thank you very much for bringing this design to Lee Summit. I think it's going to be very unique in Lee Summit. I don't think we have anything else like this in Lee Summit. Even our own train station is a brick building, and so it's a little different. I tend to agree on the signing package. I would have been okay with removing the emergency visits and open on Saturdays signs, but I do think that that additional sign on the tower should stay. But I would be amenable to, to support having the whole sign package as is. But I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bimbrook.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I would like to thank the applicant for tackling a difficult site that probably would have remained vacant for the next 20 years. I appreciate the investment that takes. I also appreciate the building itself. It's not cheaply done with the overhangs and the materials, so I appreciate you bringing a quality build to our neighborhood. I too think the signs fit in with the 8 signs with the design of the building. I have no problem with that. Other than that, thank you for considering Lee Summit. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Bimbrook took some words out of my mouth of thanking you guys for tackling a pretty tough site over there. I'm indifferent on the signs. I understand staff's recommendation to amend it. We have UDO. Hoping everybody understands that the signs are really, in my opinion, with what staff's saying and looking at the elevations, the signs that are there serve no purpose because of everything is forefronted. So I will leave that for the vote. I am not in support of changing staff's recommendation. And I will just put out there that I do have a grave concern. I love the design. I think it's so cool. I think it's a very attractive building and will be unique, but the water tower makes me extremely nervous. So I will leave it at that and let Mr. Trafton take it away with a motion.
Mr. Chair? I'm sorry. I slightly misspoke there. We cannot strike condition 2 fully. We'll need to amend it to basically say, amend condition 2 to allow for the approval of sign package as submitted by the applicant. And then, because we do need to grant a modification for those additional signs. And then we can amend condition number 3 to be include maintenance will be in accordance with the water tower maintenance letter that was submitted to staff on May 17th. So that would put that in there as well.
Okay.
Do you need the verbiage?
Can you go just a little bit slower? I was following you mostly, sir.
Do you need me to restate it verbally or?
No, I can just
Okay.
read it right here if you're gonna let me do that, but.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
Could I just comment for a second on Commissioner Trafton's question about the maintenance issue?
yes.
Okay. I just want the commission to understand, as a courtroom lawyer, and I was doing this back in the last century, the addition
If I could get the person on Zoom that's labeled Matthew's iPhone to mute their phone, we're getting feedback from you.
the additional language you want certainly doesn't hurt anything. You need to know, though, that your prosecutors and your enforcement personnel probably won't know it exists. The scale of a disaster by the time enforcement personnel operating under the property maintenance code would get to the point they are looking at this document would have to be substantial. Generally, the way we enforce property maintenance code is we either get a complaint or we will see it, one of our staff will see it. We'll send them a letter saying, hey, you guys, you got to do this. You're violating the property maintenance code. If they fail to perform that, then they'll get charged in municipal court as a municipal court codes violation. Those prosecutors are probably not going to know about this nugget in the ordinance you passed tonight. As Amy and I read it, it's pretty vague, it's pretty general. I don't think it's specifically enforceable. If you want more enforceable language, we can certainly write that for you. But I don't want you to be misled and think that there's something else there. Your courtroom lawyers are going to be looking at the property maintenance code to enforce this. And I guess as to Commissioner Kitchen's question about signs, Reed versus Town of Gilbert, which is the leading case on signs from the United States Supreme Court, isn't even a majority decision. It is literally the lawyer's full employment project. So, God bless you when you get to signs. I hope David Bushwick is standing here and not me.
Thank you for your information. I appreciate it. Given that, I'm not sure that we should play with amending number 3, because I think the city staff does have a point there.
Is this something, I guess the question would be, is this something, the development agreement is signed?
Oh, you can have this back, Shannon, sorry. Thank you.
Staff did receive a letter from the applicant that is signed that talks specifically about their maintenance program and also includes a copy of their contract services with their company that does their washing and the maintenance for them.
Okay. You go with that?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay.
So, okay. So we still have to make a motion for the main recommendation to approve, and then we have to vote on the amendments after that, correct? Or procedure? Oh, make the motion to amend
Yes.
the item number 2.
Yes.
All right, Chair, I move that we amend recommendation conditions of approval site-specific item number 2 to allow for sign package as submitted by the applicant.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Can I get a vote on the amendment?
Mark Kitchens,
Yes.
Cinda Rader,
Yes.
Dana Arth,
Yes.
Donnie Funk,
No.
Terry Trafton, Tanya Jonna Ford,
Yes.
Chip Tuzinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
And the amendment has passed, so now we need your,
Oh, okay, thank you, Chair. I move to recommend approval of application PL 2023-069, preliminary development plan, Dental Depot, 1501 Northeast Rice Road, Ashmore Investments LLC applicant.
Second.
do we need to add as amended to that?
Good, Mr.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Can I get a vote on the application?
Mark Kitchens,
Yes.
Cinda Rader,
Yes.
Dana Arth,
Yes.
Donnie Funk,
No.
Terry Trafton,
Yes.
Tanya Jonna Ford,
Yes.
Chip Tuzinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
And the application has been recommended for approval. We will move to our next public hearing, and we will open up application PL 2023-094 Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Capital Improvement Plan, CIP 2024-2028, City of Lee Summit applicant. Anyone wishing to speak or testify on behalf of this application, please stand and be sworn in at this time.
Right. Good evening. I'm George Binger, City Engineer. And what I'm presenting tonight is the fiscal year 2024 Capital Improvement Plan. This is a formal presentation. This is our public hearing for this, for the CIP document. And as we walk through this, we'll kind of explain what's in the CIP this year and some of the components of this. So this year, we started a little bit earlier with the CIP in November. We kind of had a kickoff meeting with Public Works Committee. We also met with the Annual License Tax Committee as part of this. And part of this is knowing that in the fall, we were leading up to the April bond issue election. So we knew that was coming, so we're trying to lay some groundwork for that because there was a list of unfunded projects at that time. And so we kind of wanted to get some guidance from these bodies before that. Then in February, we kind of touch bases with committee again, and that's when, you know, staff was formally assembling the document. Then April, we posted it for public comment online. It was available for public comment April 10th through April 30th, at which point we've received 9 comments. And I guess that means I should probably back up and enter exhibits into the record because that's part of the record. So, Chairman, I would like to enter into the public record Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 9.
Exhibits 1 through 9 noted and entered.
Okay, all right, thank you. We've submitted a summary report to council and committee, and then our planning commission tonight. This is the formal public hearing. This is required by state statute that we have a public hearing for public projects, and since this is kind of how we address the whole plan for this now as we go forward with individual projects, we have public meetings that are project specific. The other element of this is, you know, as we're amending the comprehensive plan with this 5-year plan, is the first year of the CIP FY24 is actually adopted as part of the budget, and that gives us funding authorization for those particular projects. So that's the timeline that's brought us here tonight. So then what is our CIP? It's a plan and it's a budget. Generally what you're seeing here in the CIP are projects that we know are going to cost more than $75,000 and are long-lasting projects. So this includes some programs that are ongoing from year to year, like our overlay program, some facility maintenance programs. So that's what's in here. You'll see it's broken up into several categories: road, bridge, water, sewer, and buildings. And that's because this capital improvement plan covers about every department of the city. And so this is prepared by staff. We have probably over 30 people working on this document to pull it together. The other key component of this is financially constrained. So the projects that are presented in the CIP all have an identified funding source. Many of these projects are committed by a public vote, such as the bond issues are specifically committed by public vote. The other is when we have our sales tax, specific sales taxes like our capital improvement sales tax. Then that goes to the ballot, we have public education. And as part of that, we present a list of projects. It's not specifically on the ballot, but we've made a public commitment that if we said we're going to do these projects, we do that unless directed otherwise by council over the course of that program. And then you see there the statutory definition of capital improvement. It's owned by a governmental agency, and we own it and we maintain it. So that's what you're seeing here in the CIP. So the CIP, we've incorporated in here our links to the comprehensive plan as well as the strategic plan. Each project is evaluated in a way where we show it fits that, as well as our strategic plan. So our process, this chart's trying to illustrate that it's kind of like a funnel. We start with these broad master plans. We have the comprehensive plan, we have a thoroughfare master plan, water and sewer master plan. So those are all very broad. So we start with that as a guiding document. It's also used by our development services as developments come in to make sure we're consistent with that. And at each one of these stages, we're receiving public input from the broader picture. So one of the things we've tried to work with the council and you as commissioners, a lot of times when we're at this moment in time, public comments probably not going to affect this particular document, but all these comments, as you saw the process in the fall, when we start this process, we get all those comments and we're reviewing that with committee. So this is kind of a, be patient with us. We will get those comments. We'll respond that way. Because if you kind of see, this is where we're at now here at the bottom, Planning Commission. We're about ready to churn this out and starting projects. Just as an example, if you look at a project like this, Colburn Road, we just recently bid. It'll be under construction here very soon. That started out in 2017 as part of our CIP sales tax for 15 years. It was first funded through that process. It was part of our thoroughfare master plan we adopted in, it was updated in 2015 timeframe. And through that process, we found the funding was approved. So since that time in 2017, we've been in the design process, and so here we are. We're ready to start building. So understand it may be a longer process. A different example in this would be like our Olive and Orchard stormwater project. That was one that came in. A lot of public demand for that one. And so as we were able to identify a need for that project, it wasn't specifically in one of the master plans, but it fit our stormwater program because we identified structural flooding. We identified, it was identified in writing, it was due to a lack of public infrastructure, and that fit in one of our stormwater project we have in the capital project we have in our sales tax. So with that, we're at this point in time to kind of see how projects are going to be mapped out. So what's in the document this year, a big picture? This is one of the largest programs we have. It's $624 million over 5 years. That includes some of the projects from this April 2023 bond issue, such as the emergency operations facility, re-roofing some of the buildings, other facilities, ERP replacements, things that were identified early on as critical. We have to do this now or get started on right away. Because some of the small ones like re-roof will get done this year, but the longer ones like a facility project, like the fire headquarters remodel, emergency operations facility, we have to start that design process this year. It'll be a year or two before we start seeing construction on those projects. We've closed 17 projects this year, totaling $16 million. An example with that, it's not closed yet, but like Browning Street just opened this week. It was one of the smaller projects we had in here in the CIP, but that's been closed. We've added 31 projects, and again, that includes some from the sales tax, the bond issue, for $155 million. And then I kind of talked through the public process of how, we've had some projects we've identified. We include inflation when every year we'll go through. So sometimes we'll see a project number from last year to this year may change. The cost may increase because we go back and we reevaluate based on inflation or other market issues we may be dealing with on the construction side. We also review cash flow. We work with finance department to balance the revenue, so we have a financially constrained document. And then we work with Public Works Committee to prioritize, to rack and stack sequence projects. So that's what you're seeing in this document. This is an overall summary. So you see the total on the bottom right is the $624 million. The categories you see on the left are the different categories we have in the CIP document. So you can see, like we have this year, we're seeing an increase in our facilities. We're showing the $14 million. The Bridge, Street, and Signals is usually our largest category, just because the road projects usually are more expensive than others. And then I'll note on Parks and Rec, that is entirely funded through the Parks Department. They have their Parks and Rec sales tax and user fees, so all of their projects are entirely funded through Parks and Rec. And the same goes for water and sewer, being a standalone enterprise utility. They're funded through tap fees as well as rates and user fees. This is just kind of a summary of the major funding sources. I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier with the different sales taxes that we have dedicated for capital projects. We have the 15-year sales tax that was approved in 2017, our permanent transportation sales tax, and then obligation bonds, Fire Station 4 and 5, which are under construction. Those were bond issue projects. And then, of course, recently here in April, $186 million over 10 years was approved by voters. One of the things that we've seen that where we've seen some of the revenues have increased is by the passing of the use tax. We've seen that has had a positive impact on the projects that are funded through sales taxes. At this time, we don't currently have any. Well, I take that back. The TIF and TDD, the 291 and North and 50 interchange has a TIF or TDD associated with that project. Grant money, this year through the application process through Mark, we received close to $9 million in grant money for road projects. That'll be in future fiscal years, and we also received a $3.8 million ARPA grant through the Missouri Department of Natural Resources for a stormwater project. The community bus service, the ATA program, that is currently we're still having some ARPA funding for that, and that's usually also done with a grant through KCATA. And then the excise tax, that's one that's levied on new development. That was approved in 1998, and that's based on new traffic that's generated by that development. Generally, we're seeing about an average projecting about an average about $600,000 per year is generated through that excise tax. So as new development comes in and generates new traffic, it goes into that fund. That is supporting the 291 interchange project that paid for Browning Street and paid for Main Street north of Chipman Road. So that program has worked well, and it's and I say 291 interchange, it's not paying a lot, but that was the seed money that secured the state cost share and grant money for that project. Again, kind of going through the review process, I discussed this a little bit earlier. It is a very public process, and so we want to make sure that and the input does play an influence on this. So, example I said on that second bullet is the comments received last year have had an influence on some of the like what for Lakewood Way that was on our and Southeast Douglas ended up on our April bond issue election, because those are projects that identified some public demand for that, as well as it fit within some of our master plans. Here's where we're at on the comments to date. We received 9 comments in the online forum. The past couple of years, we've had close to 20 comments in that range, and that's generally that online forum is where we've received most of our comments. This is a list here showing projects that last fall were unfunded. This is what we worked through with the Public Works Committee to prioritize the ones that are lined out or ones that have been funded. And the funding sources there, many of them through the April bond issue election. Then more of the projects that we've taken off the list, and the ones you see down below that aren't lined out, like guardrail repair, that just comes up. Somebody hits a guardrail, we've got to fix it. And so we've modified some of our program expenses this year. Instead of going with a specific saying guardrail or bridge, you'll see an infrastructure rehab and repair program in there for that. This is showing projects that are underway, the ones in bold italics. Again, these are projects that first came up in the 2017 CIP sales tax. Excuse me. I will say that on item number 12, Northwest Ward Road, Phase 2, that's from O'Brien up to Chipman. We're negotiating the scope and fee with the consultant to get that design process started. And then item 13, Pryor Road Phase 2, we'll be publishing the RFQ for that to start design here. It should be published tomorrow. So we're moving forward with these projects. And again, this sequence may change in the fall when we start trying to fold in some of these bond projects, but again, that'll be conversations we have with Public Works Committee and Council. And back to the beginning, here's the summary, and so with this, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, George. Commissioner Benbrook, we'll start down there.
Yeah, I have one question. If you go back one slide, please. Item 17, you're saying the sheer road, I think it was between 291 and, I can't remember the street.
Ward Road?
Is unfunded?
No.
Is that-
No, sir. This list is showing funded projects.
Okay, so that project is funded.
Yes.
Okay. I drive on it every day, so it's a bit of a concern
Yes.
for me. It's bad. I can't even do the speed limit without bottoming out my suspension in a couple areas.
Yes, sir. That, and that's in the CIP. You'll see in the detail sheets, the first year we got design in that. And we submitted that for a grant application. It scored very well, but it was for the 26, 27 funding round, so, and it's for construction money. So we should get some grant money for that down the road.
Okay, and is that gonna be an expansion, to 4 lanes?
The concept now, because of the strategic plan or overall plan for the PRI property in that area, what we're looking at either a 3 or 4 lane road between Ward Road and 291, mainly as a safety improvement, multimodal adding bike and pedestrian facilities. West of Ward Road is where it will intersect somewhat with the Shearer Parkway that's supposed to turn south and align with the Hook Road interchange on 291. The Shearer Parkway will definitely be a 4-lane divided roadway
Okay,
at that point, so.
thank you. That's all I had, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Chizinski.
No comments at this point for discussion.
Commissioner Trafton.
Thank you. Thank you for this. I love it. It's good information. I appreciate it. My question is about, I don't see Chipman Road between View High and whatever street that is, that it's being improved. I know that you guys are working on it.
It's not listed here because that's from the 2007 sales
Yeah.
tax funding.
Yeah.
But it is, we have awarded the bid for that. Emery Sapp and Sons is the contractor, and so that will be under construction soon, shortly.
Okay, so, yeah, because I know that there was utility movements
Yes.
and all that stuff, and the bridge is the other question I have about on that project. I can't remember, I know you guys came to an agreement, but I don't know what ever happened with it.
As part of that, the agreement was, as part of this project, we would remove and replace the bridge. Jackson County approved the alternate bid to replace the bridge, so they're gonna be reimbursing the city for the cost of the bridge for the trail.
Okay.
So that concrete culvert will get removed. We'll have a 3-lane roadway with sidewalk and trail going under that. And then we'll have a trail bridge for the Rock Island Trail going over Chipman Road. We will also have a connection from Chipman Road up to the trail. We'll have ramps to connect up to the trail.
Thank you. And what's the anticipated completion date on that?
It's a 2-year project, just because, so it'll probably be fall of next year, 24.
Oh, okay, great, thank you.
Commissioner Jana Ford. I don't want to forget you out there.
Thank you, Chair. I'm looking at just a general question. I'm always really happy to listen to these things just to kind of keep with what our growth in our city is doing. But I'm looking at the public comments summary. Who provides the comments for each of these categories and projects?
I'm sorry, do you mean who is inputting the comment or who's doing the response?
I guess it's more of who's providing the response for it.
Okay, because these are comments we received from the general public, and then city staff will look at the comments and we try to address the questions best we can.
Okay, so it's more of a summary of all the comments received.
Yes, and
Okay.
yes.
All right, thank you. That's all, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Arth.
I don't have any at this time.
Commissioner Rader.
George, I know how hard you work on these things. I've been in your presence before, and so I just, I appreciate it. But I wanted to ask kind of a weird question, maybe. You went before the council and made a really good presentation on the stormwater. That was all the money that was needed for all the projects that we are falling behind on. So did this bond, when it passed, did it take care of that, or is that something that's separate?
That stormwater you're talking about is something separate from this. There's two elements to stormwater. We have the operation maintenance side, and then we have the capital improvement side. So the capital improvement is what was in the 2017 sales tax. That's where we're fixing problems where we have known flooding. What we're working on now with city council is we're using the term of stormwater utility. So the idea is to present a way to where a user fee is charged based on the impervious area. So if you have so many square feet, we estimate there's, a cost per, unit, say like for every 500 square feet, it may cost X number of dollars for the city to maintain the system and improve the system, the stormwater. So that includes the pipes, the inlets. It can, just general activity to keep the system working. Some of it, like, we're talking with one of the crews today, they're working on cleaning culverts. So that's a separate initiative to try to see if we create some additional revenue as a dedicated stormwater maintenance fund.
So why is it separate? Why?
Well, in this case, it would be separate.
Okay.
Some of the constraints we're dealing with, is an example, some cities will use a sales tax for that, but one of the things, the guidance we got from council is we're limited by state law how much we can assess on a sales tax.
Okay.
We're down to like the last, I think, 0.5% or something, or 1%, and they kind of want to hold that in reserve, just in case. The other is if we want to, do a property tax initiative, and we know how challenging that can be when you want to start talking about a property assessment. So this is more trying to correlate the actual demand generated or, requirement with the fee or the revenue. So it's kind of like, the idea is it's like a water utility where if you use X, so many gallons of water, there's a cost associated with that. So it's kind of a similar concept.
That's kind of what you're working on in order to get those funds, because it's a pretty serious issue,
Yes.
according to your presentation. So, okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Chair.
Commissioner Kitchens.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, great job. I was looking over some of the public comments, and some of them, they seem concerned with, very specific things, and each individual, whether politely or not, will express that opinion. I was looking over the airport projected expenditures, and I noticed that some years are significantly higher than others. I think I have a good idea about that, but why don't you tell us why on earth that is? Because it's a good point on it.
Okay, so the reason you'll see the costs go up and down in the capital improvement plan is generally the larger numbers or when we're dealing with construction. Smaller numbers, it's either a small project or we're in the design phase. So an example would be like the Hangar 2, that's projected to be about, make sure I'm looking at the right line item. It's projected as 11.4 million. So the design is, we're not spending that much on design, it's in the construction cost.
And with each one of those years, and the reason I focus on this is we had a couple of comments, and I think it's something that we should have in public session here, or rather that the public can hear, because you guys do a good job. And I know that it's being spent properly at the airport, but a lot of people were concerned that I saw twice people saying that we receive no economic benefit from that airport, and that is one of the craziest things I have ever heard. Just because I think we receive a ton of economic benefit. So I don't think it's a matter of people saying that we don't receive it. I think that the general public doesn't get a good number of what the economic benefit is. So I guess I should apologize. I don't mean to say that. That's the craziest thing I ever heard. I want to say that it's something that I delve deep into. My kids love the Civil Air Patrol, and I know the great benefit to our community through that. STA benefits from the Civil Air Patrol as well. Just put the plug out there. So I'm not sure that number, the economic benefit, rests in your department. But where is that number found for the general public, or if we have a round number available here of the economic benefit of something so great as the airport extension has been for our community?
I would have to look in at the exact number, but I know that's when the airport did their business plan and master plan. Part of that was that economic benefit analysis to to show that. Because I know they have to do that periodically with the FAA. They have to do that economic analysis for some of these programs they're working on.
Right, and I'll have to say that airport is a huge boon to Lee's Summit, and I am 100% behind expanding that and the public services, including our wonderful first response that we have in this city, and I look forward to that even getting expanded and beefed up. And the roads, having a great plan in place to expand those, so thank you so much. And if people want to find, and this is for, TV land as it were, but if people want to find those numbers and the economic impact these wonderful services, roads, first response have in our community, they are available. We hide nothing in the city, and it is a wonderful job that you guys do, really making sure that every tax dollar counts. Thank you so much. That's all from me, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I don't have anything. Great job, George, and thanks for bringing it to us and a nice presentation. Anything else from the commission? And we can, obviously, we don't have anybody here from the public that wants to talk about the capital improvement plan tonight, so we will close the public hearing, and Mr. Chaffin, you're carrying this motion too, unless we got a comment or discussion on this, anything?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say to George and the public works staff, you guys do a great job. I know you're always looking around at the city and taking public input and coming up with good road projects, and that both help residents and also help development. I mean, it's great. And I also love the fact that you're a partner with MoDOT and you use your dollars to help the city, but then also are able to get matching dollars from them to improve our system. And I think that's great that you're a great partner there. And so I just wanted to say thank you very much to you and your staff.
Thank you. Any comments, Commission? Good. Mr. Chaffin?
Okay, Chair Funk,
Yes.
I move to direct staff to present a resolution adopting the capital improvement plan 2024 to 2028 as an amendment to the City of Lee Summit's Ignite Comprehensive Plan as amended, and approving the location, extent, and character of all public improvements described in the City of Lee Summit Capital Improvement Plan 2024 through 2028.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second, could I get a vote on the resolution?
Mark Hitchens,
Yes.
Cinda Rader,
Yes.
Gina Arth,
Yes.
Donnie Funk,
Yes.
Terry Trafton,
Yes.
Tanya Jonna Ford,
Yes.
Chip Tuzinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
And the resolution has been, or the direction of the resolution has been approved. We will move on to our roundtable. Anything from the commission?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just wanted to give a wonderful shout out to our staff here for helping with Clean Streets Lee Summit and MoDOT as well. So MoDOT was brought up earlier, but MoDOT actually was a huge partner in this. And if you'll notice, they have kept their agreement and are cleaning out all of the center medians and making us a priority in the city and getting it a lot cleaner. I want to emphasize that while all the great citizens of Lee Summit came out to clean up and pick up trash, that is a small part in the overall picture. We need to have a great relationship with MoDOT, and I'm glad to see our city staff is carrying that forward. And I'm glad to see the Ministerial Alliance was doing it as well in tandem with Just Serve. So kudos to that. Very happy with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder on Amy's email in regards to having the police department with us on the 22nd. So any questions or any data material, anything you'd like that, get from them, please get that over to Amy as soon as possible. And Commissioner Arth, I will not be here on the 8th. So I will be out that week. Anything else, Commissioner Rader?
I just want to add on to Commissioner Kitchens and say that that was really awesome how the community came and people got involved to pick up trash. And I guess it just shows that, and we always want to partner, but it just shows that many times when we can't get municipalities or entities or whatever that are responsible to do those things, they can't get done, then as a city, I'm proud that we, as the people here, and we had help, of course, that got involved and took ownership of that. Now, I guess my question is, unless MoDOT gets more people hired, are we going to carry forward with that?
Yes. So
Yay.
the plan right now is to have 2 semi-annual in the spring and fall cleanup months, if you were, 4 weeks, so that people can get out there and help, and we don't overburden people. But the real push is going to be to get more people or organizations involved with Adopt a Highway, Street, or sponsor a street and highway programs, and really have those businesses, as well as churches and other non-governmental organizations really step up to the plate and increase that relationship with MoDOT. We've also been in talks with the Department of Corrections to have parolees during the year come out and do their service as cleaning up the freeways in the area. It is a whole of community response. There's no one part that can function without the rest, but the citizens activating are the ignition, I'll say, the light on the fuse, and I'm very proud of every single person who came out. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Staff, anything? Good? All right, we are adjourned.